Okay, so today's story, honestly, I'm just gonna quickly explain that I have no idea why this has happened in my classroom, but it is what it is. A lot of crazy things happen in high school, and hell, I think that's one of the reasons why I have the high school survival series to begin with. And also, before the story starts, I do have two crazy announcements I have to mention. The Bubba channel that you guys know and love that usually has the shorts involved in there has now officially released its IRL series, where you guys actually get to meet my Fortnite girlfriend in person. Yes, I said it here first, and honestly, if you guys do want to go check that out, link is in the description down below. I highly advise going to subscribe to that channel and watching that video because things do get kind of crazy. And on top of that, did I mention that I'm currently live streaming on Twitch? So if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys go click the link in the description down below and watch me live streaming to you guys and telling more of these crazy stories. Now, other than that, let's get straight into this insane story. All right, yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy episode of a crazy story time, as usual. So today's story is about something that, as you guys read from the title, yes, this is literally catching my teacher on the Devil's Hub in class. Honestly, I don't know how this happened, but I can quickly explain some backstory. So I remember back when I was in grade 9, this was my first year of high school, and honestly, I was just an average freshman in high school. Now, honestly, I didn't know much about being in high school. Hell, I literally just got out of middle school, so, you know, me entering the world of high school, well, yeah, it's a long story short. Actually, funny enough, I posted my first episode of me being in high school a while back, so if you guys do really know how my first day went, you guys can go check there. But I want to say a couple months going into high school when things were just getting more comfortable for me, I remember something insane that happened. And basically, it was in my socials class. So in my socials class, I remember we had this substitute teacher that was some really old fat guy that, let's just say, can clearly tell that he had no life going for him. Like, I'm gonna be honest, if you're like in your 40s and still teaching and, well, single and lonely, which this guy really did show, and yes, he did not have a ring on his finger, so we did know he was single and lonely, you can already tell that this guy was a lost cause. And honestly, it sucked. And I remember the first day when I saw him entering that classroom and going straight through the door, seeing him there was, well, not worth it. If you guys don't know, I basically had a really hot teacher in that social studies class, and long story short, let's just say me and her had some history. But other than that, we'll put that aside. Going on with this old fat guy, I remember when he came up in front of the class, and it was basically his first day there, he stood up in front of the class and said, "All right, everybody, open to page 25. We're gonna be studying the Declaration of Independence." Yeah, like, he was so monotone to the point where I just wanted to pass out. Like, it wasn't even worth being there. And I want to say this went on for at least like almost 2 months of him just straight up being a loser. I didn't know why my other teacher wasn't coming back, and I didn't understand what happened to her. So I remember one day I decided to walk up to my teacher, and as I was walking up to my teacher, the substitute, I remember right as I was about to walk towards him, he slams his laptop closed. And I remember looking at him all weird and stuff because I had no idea what was on that laptop. I don't know if he was putting our grades in. I don't know if he was, you know, checking our work or something. I have no idea what was on that laptop. But the way he slammed it really seemed suspicious. And to be honest, you don't really do that with a laptop, especially a school laptop. So I remember I walked up to him and I was like, "Hey, so I'm just curious, when is our other teacher coming back?" He looks at me with a smirk and he's like, "Why would you ask that? That's not really a good question to ask your teacher when he's here." Because I want to know where my other hot teacher is. Like, hello? Like, I didn't say that, but honestly, that was in my mind at the time. And I just said, "Oh, like, you know, I'm just raising concern." He looks at me and says, "Oh, like, she had to go on leave for a bit. Apparently some family emergency." Which made no sense, but you know what? It is what it is. So I remember going back to my seat and I sat down and basically just went through the whole entire day with him again, with another boring class. Now, I want to say this is the part where things get really spicy. And I usually don't say the word spicy, so you know this is good. I remember he announced to the class, "All right, guys, we have a test coming up on the Renaissance. So, yeah, just study for that. We'll be doing it this Friday." Now, obviously, when a teacher announced the test, usually everyone's like freaking out and worried. And me, I didn't really care because I did like the Renaissance times. Funny enough, if you guys do your research, it's pretty cool, but I'm not a teacher. I'm here to tell you how this guy was weird and awkward. So going on with the story, I remember when Friday came up and we were all going to the classroom, sitting down and getting ready to do our test. We all sat down and I remember he basically handed out our worksheets and everything, but something was off about him. He was walking really weird and it seemed like he was literally waddling around the classroom. I don't know if it's because he was super fat or something, but something was off. So I remember when he sat down and everyone's doing their tests, I did my test and everything, and since I enjoyed the test, I ended up doing great on it. But I remember as I was doing the test, out of nowhere, we just hear a fapping sound. just like that. Honestly, at first I thought it was maybe something on like their headphones or, you know, maybe something from outside, like a propeller or something. I have no idea. But then I remember when I looked at my teacher, his arm was vibrating. Like it was literally vibrating. Like he was like a machine. Something was off about it. I remember it wasn't just me that noticed. Like 3 other girls in my class noticed and they all looked at him funny. And I had no idea what was going on. So I remember I kind of just looked around and I'm like, what the heck is going on, dude? Like what is going on with this guy's hand? And I remember I finished my test really early. So I remember I got up and the teacher wasn't looking at me. And as I walked up to him, I put the paper down and he didn't notice I was right beside him. And I looked directly at his screen. And the one thing I see that I did not want to see was him literally on the Devil's Hub. Literally watching it in the middle of class. I had no idea what to do at this point. I was freaking out. I was like, no way. He's doing this literally right in front of me. Honestly, like I'm happy I went up because, you know, as like the alpha male, you know, I can handle watching those things with others. Sorry, that's besides the point. But like I was saying though, I was literally panicking and I was like kind of freaked out. And I remember this other chick was walking up and as this other chick was walking up, he slams the laptop closed. But when he slammed it closed, he looks around beside him and sees me right there, literally right beside him. And he starts being all pissed off at me. He's like, why'd you get off your seat? What are you doing up here? You shouldn't be up here. I was working on our tests and grades. And then I looked at him and I just smiled. I literally just smiled. I wasn't gonna yell it to the class, oh, he's watching the Devil's Hub. Like, I'm not just gonna say that out loud. So I remember what the teacher decides to do is that he decides to grab me by my shoulder and literally walk me outside of the classroom and close the door. And he looks at me and says, okay, what do I gotta do not to make you talk? I look at him and I'm like, dude, like, what's wrong with you? And I'm not even joking. I literally said it in those words. He looked at me more pissed off, but I had dirt on him. So there's really nothing he can do. Because God knows if, let's say a principal just walks by in the classroom and literally like decides to go on his browser history, well, guess what you're gonna find? Literally him on the Devil's Hub. So knowing this, honestly, I remember he looks at me, he's like, seriously, like, what do you want me to do? Like, how can we put this just behind us? Trying to act all professional and stuff, but I hate to break it to you, fat guy. You're literally beating your meat in the middle of class. Like, dude, you need to chill. I remember as he was basically begging me to not say anything and, you know, keep this low key and not say a word, I looked at him and I told him, we can make a deal. He looks at me and he's like, Baba, I don't know what you want me to do, but I don't think I can do it if that's what you're wondering. What? No, we gotta make a deal. That's what I told him. And he's like, what do you want? And I said, for every test you hand out, I automatically get an A. No matter how much I fail it, no matter how much I do, and all that cool stuff. And if I'm skipping class, you still have to put down on the sheet that I attended class. He looked at me really worried and he was like really pissed off because he knew that that could literally cost him his job. But at the same time, me watching him beat his meat and literally going on the Devil's Hub would have done the same. So we came to an agreement. We shook hands, which I shook his other hand, by the way, just to make sure things are clear, okay? And yeah, let's just say for the rest of the school year, I don't really remember much of social studies because, well, the fat guy taught it the rest of the school year, apparently, because I attended all my classrooms on paper. But other than that, that is basically it for today's story. So make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And on top of that, did I mention that I literally introduced my Fortnite girlfriend on my other channel? So I highly advise you guys go check that out because it's literally my Fortnite girlfriend. I know, crazy. I have a girlfriend. But other than that, like I usually say, fall for more embarrassing stories. All right, peace out, guys.